What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Shift on YouTube. Before I get into this video, hey, me and Nick Earnshaw, the first episode of our podcast is out now. Go make sure you check that out. We just put it out a couple of days ago. I'm going to have the link to that in the description box. It's on YouTube. It's on this channel. And if you don't want to watch the entire podcast, you can listen to it. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, a couple of other ones as well. I'm going to have the link to all of those in the description box. So go make sure you check out our first episode, and episode number 2 will be coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. So without further ado, let's talk about today's topic, shall we? Look, all the talk, even in just mainstream sports right now, with baseball, is the new rules. You've got the bigger bases, you have the pitch timer, and you have the shift being banned, even though the shift will live on forever, obviously. And you guys probably already know this, but if you don't know, those are the new rules being implemented in Major League Baseball this year. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I've got spring training on in the background right now. Padres and the Mariners, it seems like no one really has a problem with so far, but we're gonna see. But I see a lot of the talk around the rules, and a lot of people are talking about who's going to benefit from the rules. And of course, it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to benefit from these new rules. I'm very interested, especially on my own team. I think Trey Turner on the Philadelphia Phillies is definitely going to benefit, steal maybe like 60 bases this year, so I'm excited. But enough about who's going to benefit. Yes, it's exciting, but what about who is going to least benefit, or it's going to be crucial for them? Not crucial, but maybe they're going to take a step back with these new rules now. And the first person, that really came to mind for me, man, and it was kind of obvious, but Luis Garcia from the Astros. It was just recently. It came out that pretty much he's not going to be able to use his, rock the cradle windup. He's not going to be able to use that pretty iconic windup. It's become pretty iconic in the sport of baseball the last couple of years, ever since he came up, a couple of years ago for the Houston Astros. And it was it was pretty interesting the first time I saw him. Like, oh, what's he doing? What's this windup? What's he rocking the baby for? It's weird. But it was interesting. It was unique. And with these new rule changes, it seems like he's not going to be able to use that anymore. Look, he was already one of the, I was looking at StatCast, and I was looking at, the pitchers that were taking the longest, the pitch tempo leaderboards. And I saw a lot of relief pitchers up there, but I wanted to look at starting pitchers because, relief pitchers are fun, but I wanted to look at starting pitchers specifically. And Luis Garcia is right out there, man. He's like in the top 2 to top 3. This past year, with the bases empty, 21.2 seconds between pitches, and then runners on base, just over 27 seconds. And then back in 2021, pretty much the same. Bases empty, 21.9 seconds. And then runners on base, 28.6 seconds. So very, very similar year to year. He came up in 2020, but he only made a couple of starts, or he only made a couple of appearances in general. So I can't really use 2020, but 21 and 2022, he was right up there, in those StatCast pitch tempo statistics. So obviously the windup helps with, taking that much time for him to throw the baseball between pitches. And look, I love the windup. It's cool, but, it's going to be good to watch him throw the ball, close to every 15 seconds rather than every 20 to 30. So, but look, man, it's going to be tough for him to adjust. I know his pitching coach, Josh Miller, was quoted in an article that I read, that, he's a really good athlete and we expect him to adapt very well. But he also said in that part of the article that, he said, I think anytime you do a major change with something, you've got to expect some growing pains, and it'll take some time to get comfortable with the new delivery. So I think this is going to hurt Luis Garcia, and especially Lance McCullers is hurt right now. He's going to have to step in, atop that rotation for the Houston Astros, especially after they lost Justin Verlander. Luis Garcia is going to, he's going to be slotted in, and he's definitely going to have to make some. I think he was going to be a starter anyway, but in the World Series, he wasn't even on the, in the starting rotation. He was slotted in the bullpen. I mean, that shows how good the Astros were. But so just Luis Garcia is just someone that stood out to me right away when I looked at his pitching windup, because basically that's going to be taken away from him, and him having to adapt to a new regular motion along to go with him being one of the, him taking very long to throw the baseball to home plate. That they both play into him being one of the pitchers and players that stands out to me that are really going to least benefit from the new rules. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Who's somebody that stands out to you as well? He's not the only pitcher that takes long to throw to the plate. But it's going to change this year, man. It's going to change this year. A lot of pitchers are going to have to adapt. Some hitters are going to have to adapt. Some that take a while to step out of the box and call time a lot. There's some interesting ones there as well. So would love to hear from you guys. What do you think of Luis Garcia, how he's going to do this year, with the new rules, with Lance McCullers being out as well? How do you think Luis Garcia is going to fare this year with the new rules? Want to hear from you guys. That's going to do it for me. Follow me at Twitter, at Rojas, or on Twitter, at Rojas_media_. Follow me. We'll talk, and I'll see you guys next time.